You're welcome to come. I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. And so I bought a ticket and just flew out there and met him, and we just traveled through the jungles of Laos for 6 days and hung out with the kids at the schools and the potential schools and the potential school sites, and just created a whole branding image photo library for them that they've used in their branding. Even they still use a lot of those images, and we've been to all the countries again since then. But that was a huge thing, and then it's just spawned into many other opportunities. And Adam's brother is Scooter Braun, who is Justin Bieber's manager.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Mindset by Design podcast with your host, the expert Andy Murphy, where you will learn the tips, tricks, and strategies he teaches his world-class clients to give you the skills to dominate any business.
What's going on, Mindset by Design crew, and welcome to episode 322. Hope you're amazing, hope you're awesome, hope life's good. All of that good stuff. Today's episode, I'm just going to get straight into it, you know what I mean? Today's episode is one of the episodes from the Best of Mindset by Design. Remember, we've been doing this for years and years now, and we had such incredible world-class guests on that, you know, not everyone's ready or got time to go back through 320 plus episodes, right? So we got to showcase some of these badass episodes. Some of my friends have been on, some awesome people that I've become friends with. And the gentleman today he's a good mate. He's a cool guy. His name is Nick ONKEN. If you don't know him, definitely go and type that in Instagram. You'll get to see all of his incredible photos, his journeys, the celebrities he's worked with, the adventures he goes on. He's always on an adventure. He travels more than me, and I travel, so it's awesome. And he's had an eventful life. And one of his taglines, which I love, make your moment, right? Make your moments. And it really is, life is about that. And every single day we have a decision. Every single moment we step into anything, we have a decision how we're going to experience it. Even the harsh times, even the stressful times, there's a way that we can manage our reaction to it and step into the unknown and just feel absolutely on fire, our best. I did some work with Nick and showed him how to really, take his brain, his creativity to a whole new level, and he definitely did. And this was, we hung out in San Diego together. It was fun times. And this was quite a few years ago, and Nick's developed as a human being through a whole different level, and it's amazing to watch, and he's just become more of a badass, so I love it, and he looks more of an amazing life. And so what I wanted to do is obviously his story is quite fascinating because he's an artist. That's what he is. He's an artist. He's a photographer, and he creates moments, right? He creates images. He creates memories. He creates iconic scenes. And this is why people bring him in, because everything is about that emotional connection to a visual component, right? And that's the same with your brand. It's the same with everything. It's using the psychology to be able to create an emotion in someone just by looking at a moment in time, a second of time, not even a second in time, right? And that's special, right? That takes talent. That takes certain type of energy, focus, and a vision. And, well, that's why he's Nick ONKEN, right? That's the cool thing. So we go into everything. I give background on Nick and everything during the episode, which we'll get into in a moment. And speaking of getting into it, I hope you are too. That's it. Head over to andymurphy.online. I don't know what you need right now, but maybe you do. And first of all, if you want to start experiencing what it's like to be on fire and have your mind tuned up, be so confident, happy, driven, abundant with money, focused every morning, would that be helpful? Of course it would be helpful. Well, the cool thing is you go to andymurphy.online right now, and you can get the Fire Mind Morning audio for free. I drop you into different brainwaves and I take you on a journey. It takes 15 minutes and you will have the best mornings of your life. Sound good? Awesome. Go there now. The other thing you can grab is the Total Control Blueprint book. Yeah, it's badass. This is revision 1. We're just working on revision 2. But it's how to stop grinding and how to step into flow instead instantly. And you can get that book right now as before I put it onto Amazon. So you can get that for free. Go and do it, right? Why wouldn't you? You got it. What else? Well, just to give you an insight of what's coming, what we're working on right now, working on the re-release of the 8-Figure Thinker Mental Academy. That is by bar none the best mental training system for entrepreneurs and business on the planet. And it's going to be available very, very soon. What else we got? If you're a trader, crypto, forex, stock, then I have got the Genius Trader Club coming out, and you're definitely going to want to be a part of that. That is going to be jet fuel to any of your businesses. So what else have we got? Well, if you want a limitless lifestyle, that's it, being alpha, abundant, happy, travel, freedom, then guess what? Yeah, you've got the Project Limitless Mastermind coming out very, very soon. So check that out. What else we got? Well, we got some other cool stuff going on. But I just want you to come and hang out with me, first of all. I'm about to start lots of doing lives, like multiple times a week. So I want you to be a part of it. Go and find me on LinkedIn. Go and find me in my Facebook group. Go and find me on Facebook. Go and find me on Instagram. How? Easy. Type in Andy Murphy Mindset. That's it. You will find me. And why don't you do that right now? And then we can jump in and come and meet Mr. Nick ONKEN. Go and do that now. Hit the show notes up. Enjoy and go and grab your free gifts right now, or go and connect with me. I do take on maybe one client a month. So, hey, why don't you go and do that too? So let's jump into today's episode, and I will see you at the end of the show. Enjoy. So speaking of awesome stuff, today's guest, truly, truly brilliant. He's become a really good friend of mine, and it's so nice in my life to be able to connect to certain people that just vibrate the same way, and Nick ONKEN, who's today's guest, is truly world class. He must have taken photos of everyone you can imagine. He just even did Lewis Howes' book cover, probably know Lewis Howes, the School of Greatness. But besides that, let's go to the next level. He's also hangs around with people like USHER, just met Jay-Z and Beyonce the other day. That's the level we're playing at. He's also one of the top fashion photographers in the world, and has also taken photos for everyone you can imagine, from Nike to Lamborghini, everyone in between. Besides being real, real funky and cool looking, Nick's a humble, nice guy, man. He's just on a mission right now to learn. So he's been working with me a little bit, and obviously everything's accelerating. And this podcast, it's just nice. It's just really nice to connect and sit down with such cool people and get to know them, and I want to give you that opportunity to get to know them, because some of the strategies that Nick uses to really stay at a world-class level, you're going to love, just a nice guy and on a mission to become, one of the greatest photographers ever. And you'll get there, man. You'll get there. Hello, Mindset by Design crew. So guess what? You've had my awesome intro. So you definitely know who I'm excited about bringing on the show today. Mr. Nick ONKEN. ONKEN. I pronounced your name wrong already, mate. How are you?
ONKEN, but you recovered. You got it.
How are you today, mate?
Yeah, good. Just remember on the can, ONKEN.
Oh, it's like you've said that before to somebody. So where are you calling from right now, mate?
I am in New York City. Well, Brooklyn to be precise. But, for those outside of the city, Brooklyn, Williamsburg, New York.
Nice. How long have you been there, man?
I've been here 6 years. and I love it. I love it here.
New York's a cool place, right?
New York is an amazing place. I love the energy here. There's so much creative energy, and you just bump elbows with so many different people, and,
Right.
so many different things, so many different different things you can do. So many creatives out there, entrepreneurs, so many people, so many things.
Honestly, I spent like 2 weeks there. Stayed in Manhattan, one road over from Times Square. It's hectic, man. I think I was in the wrong spot. A good spot, but the wrong spot, right?
Well, Times Square is probably the absolute worst place you can stay in the city.
Well, it was expensive and it was a bit noisy, mate. But it's a pretty cool city. But is it one of those cities that you've really got to know, like, have a local for?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, or at least know people in the city.
Right.
As with most cities, but New York definitely, like, you have to have know the spots, know the good bars, the good restaurants. There's plenty of them. But if you're just walking down the street, you won't know where to go. You just be overwhelmed with choices. So yeah, you gotta know. You gotta be in the know.
You need to know basis. I like it. So what brought you, I mean, actually, before we even get there, Nick, I've done an intro and everyone knows who you are, man. But if you were to give yourself a title, what would that title be, man? What are you?
Oh my goodness, that's something I've actually been working on lately. I mean, I would say creative. I'm a creative photographer. What's that?
Just being creatively awesome. What?
Creatively awesome. Yes, absolutely. I'm a photographer, a podcast host. Been working on some other creative ventures, painting and different things, which are a little bit more on the experimental side.
That's cool.
As of now, but could be turning into more things down the road. But my life is in the artistic realm. I make money from my art, and I also create art for fun.
That's so cool, man. So is this something you've always done, man?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been in the creative space. I was painting and drawing as a kid. Growing up, and then I went through high school and I was in AP art, where we got to experience a bunch of different art, like things from pottery to drawing to painting to photography. It was like a little bit of here, a little bit there, and you're just playing around with it. And then I jumped into, once that was right around, like when I was a senior in high school, that's right around the time that Apple was starting to come out and desktop publishing was the thing. And so I decided to go to school for graphic design.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so that was my first career. It was a graphic designer, and I went to school, got out of school, actually kind of started learning more at the first job that I had than I was in school, so kind of took it a little bit slower. I was designing book covers for a publishing company, and did that for a couple of years, and then went freelance graphic design.
So how the hell did you get into photography from there?
Well, from there, yeah, I took a couple of intro classes in high school and college for photography because they were required as part of the design program. So I started playing around with it, and then it was film. That was the film days. So, and I was broke. I was po. So developing a roll of film was like a lot of money to me.
You must have seen that change so much. Do you miss that?
Well, not necessarily, because I actually shoot a lot of film now. I go back. I've kind of brought film back into my life, and I shoot more of it now than I did before.
So what's the difference in like the result? What's the difference in the picture?
There's just a different quality. There's a grain and a soft silkiness to film. Grittier, it's also a little bit grittier, and it's different. It's like watching a 35mm film versus like digital.
Right.
And now there's a lot of tools in the digital world for photography that you can make it look pretty close to film, but there's still like a quality of film that you can never get.
I kind of get it, because I recently got put in, like, I was at someone's house and they've got turntables and they were just playing normal music through good speakers, nothing exceptional. It's like, oh my God, it sounds so different, man. Mm-hmm. It sounds so different. So that's really what you're saying. It's like, it's not a compressed version. It's like the original format.
Yeah, it's kind of like records and versus digital music.
Right,
you know, the quality of a record, you just get that. There's still that rustic, that vintage feel.
Right.
Like you get those the crackle of the record. It's so clear. It still sounds great, but you have that feeling. Versus digital is so clean and pure and crisp.
Right. It's raw. It's real. How did you know photography was it, though, buddy? Because you were in, like, you had so many possibilities, but you've built, like, a brilliant life and career, and we're going to get into your life soon, man. But what you built, like, this life by design for yourself. How did you know photography was going to do that for you?
You know, I never did.
I like that.
I never even knew I was going to be a photographer. That was kind of the when I was doing design. That's what I loved. That's what I was on the track for.
Gotcha.
But I never really saw like an end to it. I felt I was like, you know, maybe one day I'll have a graphic design firm or something like that. And I was like, you know, freelancing, working at the Starbucks, doing like tiny little projects and you know, hanging out with my friends. I was like 21, 22.
Nice.
And then digital came on the front, digital photography, and I picked up a digital camera. This is at the time that like digital was actually starting to have some sort of quality, enough quality to where you could actually use the images in the design and print and stuff like that. So I picked up a digital camera, like it was kind of a glorified point and shoot camera. Started shooting stuff for my design, just to use in my design work, and then. A buddy of mine got back from Africa, and he has an IT company. He built an IT network for this nonprofit organization in Africa. And I was like, man, I want to be able to give back and give my time and travel. I think that'd be amazing. And I was like, I can't really do that with graphic design. And, you know, you don't have to be there. And I was like, well, what if I try photography? And so I came with this idea to pitch this nonprofit design client of mine to build them a photo library in Africa, and we would just split the expenses. And they said yes, and I was like, oh my god, really? Yeah, I mean, totally, let's do this.
That's so cool.
Had no clue what I was doing, absolutely no clue, but I did it anyways, and I just took that risk and figured it out as I went. And you know, the job is all about problem solving, so putting the puzzle pieces together to create the outcome that you want. And it's pretty much the way that life is, right? You know, you have to see where you want to go and then design it to get there. And I think one of the, you know, Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek was one of the first books that I read that just kind of inspired the whole idea of designing the life that I want, you know, which is creating and making money and traveling. And that was the start. That's what gave me the bug of photography. And I got back. It was a life-changing trip. We went to Zimbabwe, Uganda, Kenya, Burundi. And that was my first time to the developing world and to Africa nonetheless. Wow. And it rocked my world. I didn't know how to function when I got back because you see so many things that you don't see on a normal basis. And
like what?
You see kids living in grass huts, and you know, you see poverty, you see garbage everywhere, you see, you know, heartbreaking stuff, but also on the flip side, you see complete happiness in the kids that have nothing. And then you come back to a world like this, and it's such a contrast, you know, somebody can't get their coffee and they go postal.
It's mind blown, right? It's mind blowing.
It's mind blowing, and it's world changing. So I think that was a big trip in my life that kind of changed the way I see the world.
That's mad, man. How old were you, did you say?
I was about 24, 25, okay. Maybe 25, 24, 25.
Yeah. That was the same like time I left as well. 24, 25 was when I left for like the other side of the world too. That was a game changer for me. That's funny. It's like one of those pinnacle ages, right? It just seems to, I don't know, you're just becoming a man, you know?
Absolutely, and you're swimming through this world of unknown.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Trying to figure it out.
That's what we do, man. And it's funny, isn't it, when you go to these other countries. We'll talk about your life now, and we'll talk about some traveling, man, because it's like, do you find it the same thing when you bounce into these countries or like these third world countries that you instantly it just humbles you? And instantly you just look at all these happy people, and then you realize that what the hell have you been doing?
Absolutely. I mean, I guess I bounce in and out a little bit more now, so I've become a little bit more accustomed to adjusting back and forth. Right. Yeah, one of the first, not the first. I connected with a friend of mine, Adam Braun, who started this charity called Pencils of Promise.
Yeah, you said
back in
about that.
2009. Yeah.
Nice.
And that's been a whole other journey in and of itself. And he started this charity that builds schools for kids
Wow.
in the developing world. And we started a journey. You know, when he had built one school, and we met up for a beer, and I just saw this whole idea in him.
Wow.
Just this quality that he had the bleeding heart for the cause, and the business brain to build a business, which is what I think every charity needs, and hardly anybody does have.
No, it's one or the other, right?
What's that?
It's one or the other. People either make it to just make pure money and exploit it, or they do it just pure from heart, and they just end up just losing themselves in it. You know?
Absolutely. And he had both, which was a great quality. So, and he was like, "Hey, I'm going to Laos in December. If you want to come,
Wow.
you're more than welcome to come. I can't pay you. I can't pay for you, but you're welcome to come." I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do this." And so I bought a ticket and just flew out there and met him, and we just traveled through the jungles of Laos for 6 days, and hung out with the kids at the schools and the potential schools and potential school sites, and just created a whole branding image photo library for them that they've used in their branding. Even they still use a lot of those images, and we've been to all the countries again since then. But
Really?
that was a huge thing, and then it's just spawned into many other opportunities. And Adam's brother is Scooter Braun, who is Justin Bieber's manager.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, is that how this opened up? Is that how your network opened up? Was it through Pencils of Promise?
Absolutely. That was the biggest thing, and I never went into it. I had no idea. Like Justin wasn't Justin. Nobody, like, it wasn't until like 6 months after Adam and I got back from that trip. He was like, "Hey man, check it out. My brother found this kid on the internet. His name's Justin Bieber. He's gonna be huge one day."
Is that right?
Yeah. And then a couple of years later, kid's the biggest thing since sliced bread.
He's not doing bad. He's not doing bad. That's crazy. So you've also had USHER and people on your podcast and all things like that, right? I mean, is it all through it's like one person unlocks the next person?
Yeah, I met USHER through Scooter. I went on vacation with them a few years ago, and that's where I became friends with them. And then we've just kind of hung out, since then. Both Adam and Scooter got married, I think it was last year. And, I saw them at the wedding, and then it was just kind of been a slow build. I've shot Justin a few times now, and,
right.
The network just keeps growing.
I love it.
We talk about network. I think that's the biggest thing, is knowing people, building relationships, and that's huge for your career.
It's huge for
and
everything,
life.
Right? Yeah, I was going to say, on life, man. Do you think that's the difference between someone working in the corporate world? Because a lot of people are so afraid to leave that life, and you've never done that life. I've done bits of that life, but not for a long time. It's like, I wasn't too good at that world. People were trying to tell me what to do, and it was like, it wasn't going to work out too well. So it's like,
I think I'd be awful at that life.
Right? But I don't think you'd be too good, mate. It's like, what do you mean I can't do what I want? What do you mean I can't wake up when I want?
I did have a full-time job for a couple of those years when I was first starting.
Oh, really? What were you doing?
That was when I was doing the book design, the book cover design job, and there was like a couple other jobs, but that was about it. And then I jumped off and started freelancing, and that was the end of my real job life.
That's funny. So how did you do that, man? How did you do that? What was that decision? How did you make that choice? Why were you so brave? Because I know that a lot of people of the crew out there listening, they might be working, or they might be new entrepreneurs and going, "Oh shit, it's like, this is hectic. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where my next money's going to come from." I mean, how did you jump to the next stage of your life?
Yeah, that's such a great question. There's a lot of different things. There's I knew what I wanted. I had an idea. When I jumped off, I was doing graphic design, and I was like, okay, I could pick up some design projects here and there and have enough to live. I also cut my expenses. I was living in Seattle at the time. I cut down my expenses, my goal was to get my expenses down to the least amount that I had to pay a month.
Nice.
And so that I can live off of like a smaller amount of money.
Perfect.
Which gave that, kind of that, I don't know, the parachute or it made the jump a lot less, of a drop.
Right.
So that's part of it, but then I think, in terms of other people, you got to weigh your variables in your life. Everybody's at a different space in life. There's, some people have significant others, they have families, they have a job, they've been used to a certain level of living. And I think part of it's dropping the pride and ego to be able to live off of less and to not have to have that extra, whatever, that nice car or the extra fluff and it's not necessarily necessary, so that you can take all that money that you're making and put that into your business. I spent years putting everything into my business until I actually made money. I was writing off to zero every year.
Right, but it doesn't matter because you got to where you wanted to get to, or you're getting even more to where you want to get to, right?
Yeah, and I think one of the things I did a podcast on, the first step is knowing your why, and absolutely knowing for a fact what you want to do and what you love, so that that's what's driving you to jump off that cliff and jump into the world of entrepreneurship and leave the full-time security.
Yeah, and for you, it's like, is there anything that you'd change if you could rewind? Like even the clock, like 12 months or even 18 months, what would you do differently? Is there anything?
Rewind 12 months from now?
Yeah, well, if you could rewind 12 months from now, like 18 months from now, yeah, not then, like right now, would you do anything different in your business? Or your life?
I guess a little bit early. I guess rewind a little bit more. And
we can do that, mate.
I think that's the one that I was like talking about this the other day to somebody. I was like, well, if I was, I think one of the biggest things I learned was like, for me is to like hire assistants earlier in the game. Gotcha. Because I was always scared to do that because, they cost money and you got to pay people and that's a lot of money and what are you doing? And,
right.
You're essentially paying for your time, so I don't have to spend my time doing the things that I don't necessarily need to do. I can focus my time to the bigger things. And,
nice.
Whether that's, shooting and creating,
doing
meetings, doing other creative projects, that's where my time needs to be spent. So anything that can be automated or delegated.
Nice.
That's what I've learned over the last couple of years.
So what does that assistant do for you? Just out of interest, because people always hear the reason why I'm asking is people always hear, especially with Tim Ferriss, right? The 4-Hour Work Week. Get a VA, get a VA, get a VA. Then everyone got these VAs and all these companies blew up doing VAs and there's I don't know how to use a VA.
Yeah, for me, I need my guys are in my office and they're awesome and they, they do everything from a lot of my image processing and editing to research stuff, to running to the post office and just so many different things. Doing research, building creative mood boards for me for upcoming shoots, and helping me do research on that, and helping me produce, do logistics stuff, helping organize equipment stuff, pulling insurance certs. So many different things, and it just stacks up. We're doing laying out different promos and different, working on updating website stuff and working on stuff with getting my reps different things and my agents, updated images and resizing images. There's just so much to do in the office that you wouldn't even think.
Right.
And I used to do all that stuff myself. And
that was a full-time job.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd travel and then I'd come back and everything. I'd just be stuck in drowning, trying to catch up on everything, and then stuff wouldn't get done. So now the engine is running, even when I'm traveling and shooting and all that stuff.
I love it. So what do you think about this? your network, because it's growing and you've got a good, strong network, what do you think it's done for you, man? Well, everyone always talks about your network is your net worth, and I preach on about it all the damn time, and I talk about from a neurological aspect, but whatever about me, right? It's like people are sick of me hearing on the crew are sick of me hearing talk about that. But for you, what's it actually done for you having an awesome network, man?
I'm a big believer in your friends in life are your lens in life, and you're the average of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. And it's a level of who you are as a person and who your influences are, and B, for business, it's all who you know. It's all who people want to do business with people that they're friends with.
Yes.
And I want to do business with people that I'm friends with. Obviously people that can handle their own, that are like responsible and will actually deliver.
That helps, right?
But I want to do business with people that I like.
Yeah.
And I think people are the same. So the more relationships that you build, the more you're going to get access, and then people want to refer you to their friends and to other people, and that's how it's, from talking about that Pencil to Promise story, that's come back to me, and I can't even count how much return. Not that that's what I was going for. Like, my whole intention was just to give.
Right.
And I think with any relationship, it's the best way to do is to go into it with how much value can I add to that other relationship.
That's beautiful. And you know what? Why it's, again, I love what you said, Dan. Thank you for sharing that, man, because it's like you just went into that just giving. Didn't go into it with an intention. You weren't trying to get anything for anyone. You weren't trying to make a network. You just went in there and tried to help. And guess what comes back to you? The universe rewards for sure, right? For sure. And I find that with networking, and it's like with anything. Something I teach is professional networking, and one of the key principles is don't want anything from anyone, because that's what everyone else does. Everyone will talk to someone wanting something from them instead of like making friends, like you've said. All I do, like yourself, is just make friends. If you work together, you work together. You don't. It doesn't matter. You've made a friend, right?
Absolutely. So funny. You've heard that term, brain picking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when somebody wants to come and pick your brain.
Yup.
That is like, I've come to like realize how offensive that term is to me. I hate that term.
Dude, I get it every day.
Yeah, you get it every day, and people just want to take, right?
Yes.
And I think it's a different approach, especially now this day and age with so much digital noise and so much free information that comes online. And when somebody's like says, "Oh, I just want to pick your brain," it's like, come and offer some value. Even if it was buying lunch, it's like that's still
right.
After I've gained like years and years of experience, it's like that's valuable to me. People pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to school.
Yes.
To learn information, and I just think that when you're approaching people, you got to add value first.
You do, and the value doesn't have to be money. The value just has to be. I was talking about like an energy exchange. There needs to be some energy exchange, and I know you'll relate to this thing. The amount of times in the past, I remember a few years ago, before I put this boundary up, I used to have, honest to God, it'd take me like an hour a day at least, answering all of these people's emails and messages from friends, never mind anyone else, all around the world. Andy, I just need help with this. Andy, what would you do for that? What would you do for this? And then you go, you know what? I tell you a great place, come over here and join this academy or whatever. And they're like, and it's like, it's silence. Oh, you mean you've got to do some work? Oh, you've got to add some value back to me? It's funny, that one, isn't it? It's funny.
Totally. That's actually why I started my blog and podcast and stuff, was to, add value to people without having to necessarily answer every email.
Oh, right.
Because it's like the same thing. At least I could be like, oh, okay, well, here, check out this blog post. I wouldn't have to
right. So
I could still bring people value, but not have to, because it's time consuming, and
it's
and
so
the farther,
time-consuming.
yeah, and the farther down the road you get, your time is more valuable.
For sure. So you got to charge people lots of cash for your time because it's taking you like 13 years to learn it, right? With a lot of pain. I mean,
absolutely.
So what's the name of your podcast, man?
The podcast is Shop Talk Radio, shoptalkradio.com, and that's we just talk a lot. We talk shop about creativity and, you know, from the inside out a lot. I do a lot of personal development, self-development work as well. So how does that affect your creative work? You know, and we get creative entrepreneurs on there that we talk about what they've built and then how they built it from their mindsets to practicalities.
I love that, man. You mean you've had some rock stars on there itself? I mean, just list off a couple of the people that you've actually interviewed on that thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've had USHER on the show. We've had Scooter Braun, Adam Braun. We've had other designers like my friends Coco and Breezy, and we've had Asher Roth on the show. And many others.
And I just recorded too, mate. So I'm excited about that one, being part of that community.
I was just gonna say we've had the Andy Murphy on.
Yeah.
Coming up though.
Coming up soon enough, man. Coming up soon enough. I mean, absolutely. Where do you think entrepreneurs go wrong, bud? Just in general, man. Where do you think they go wrong?
That's a good question. I think it's living in the fear and making decisions out of fear and letting limiting beliefs and past experiences dictate the way that they make decisions and operate for the future.
I love it. Just still living not in them true selves. Do you think that that's the biggest thing that you found? Like, you spoke to all of these people like USHER and all of these other people. What is it that makes them different, man? What is it? How can they reach that level of success and still have the feet on earth? You know, how, because everybody, like, I know for a fact that, like, people who are playing at that level, it's very difficult for them to live a normal life. And they've got a lot of people around them who are just yes men, you know? So, I mean, for USHER to even come on your podcast, that tells me a lot about USHER, for a start, right? I mean, so what separates that level of person? How do they stay grounded and how do they perform at that level?
Absolutely. I think the first thing is, I mean, it's mindset. They work hard, like they work harder. I mean, USHER sleeps like 3 hours a night.
Really?
And he just thinks at a higher level. And then the other thing is gratitude. I think he's a very grateful person. USHER also, he practices meditation. So I think that's a huge part of his, he does TM.
Ah, beautiful.
And so which is that's something that I just embarked on the journey this last week. I'm excited to see how that pans out.
Beautiful, mate. It's important for many different reasons, whether it's a spiritual angle, you're just trying to calm your frantic brain down, you know. There's the science is backing it up these days for sure, right? With grey matter and all the rest of it. It really is. So he meditates and everything. Is he humble?
Yeah, I mean, from every interaction that I've had with him, he's very kind, very humble guy.
Amazing.
And very genuine. I just went off with him a couple weeks ago, or a month or two ago. We traveled to Morocco and Germany and London together.
Nice.
Or I travel with him and his crew.
Well, that's even better. That's even better. You can travel with him. It's going to be much of a cheaper run than you paying for him, mate.
Exactly, especially when it's like private jets and all that stuff.
Exactly. So, with these level of people that you're playing around, what's their like main belief around the world? I mean, why are they doing the journey that? Because USHER could stop right now. He doesn't have to do anything else. He's created a legacy. So, what is it that keeps him driving forwards?
I think it's that passion to create is the first thing.
Okay.
And then it's the belief in themselves that they can create at such a high level. And then the other thing is legacy of wanting to impact the world on a large scale and working towards that. And I know USHER's very he's very into philanthropy and his legacy and what he's creating in the world that's just beyond that gives back and it's beyond himself and beyond his art.
That's so good. That's so cool. And is that the same thing for you? And that's where I'm getting to with all of this. I mean, what's the vision for you? 5 years? What do you want your life to be? What's the point in this?
5 years. I mean, oh my goodness. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing in 2 weeks.
Hey, I get that. I do get that. But what's the vision? Is this purely about lifestyle? Is it to what's this for? What's the purpose?
Well, I mean, A, I want to live the lifestyle that I want to live, but B, I think the big thing is inspiring other people that they can create their lives themselves. And,
beautiful.
That starts with the active mindset of creating your moments, which is a hashtag I've been using. And it's been my campaign for a little while. And I think, it starts with the conscious choice of creating and choosing to create your life versus sit around and lollygag, as we like to talk about it, and just sit around and like wallow in your circumstance. You've got to take control. You got to choose to create what you want. You got to choose to create your life in the way that you want it. And yeah, everybody has different circumstances, but it takes a great mind or it just takes you choosing to go past it. I mean, look at Oprah. She came from, the hood.
Yeah.
She was in dire circumstances, and look where she is today. And that's because she chose to create what she wanted to create in the world. Exactly. And to rise above her circumstances. So that's my vision, is to inspire people that they can do that as well. And we're working on a few different things. Lifestyle brand around that idea is the next project, the side project that I'm working on.
That's so cool. I mean, you've been building this for a long time, obviously now make this business and your profile and all the rest of it. When was like a real dark time when you started down this path of photography, and it was a dark moment, meaning like things weren't going to plan, or you stressed yourself out, you freaked yourself out, and you caught that pattern and changed, or has everything just gone smooth?
Well, I mean, overall, if you looked at my life, things were good, have always been in an upward trajectory. And I think a part of that's just general energy and law of attraction, perhaps.
Sure.
But I did go through a dark time a few years ago, probably around 2011. Okay. 2009, 2010, I hit probably the high points of my career in photography. And
nice.
Some of the best, two of the best years of my life, monetarily, financially. And at that point, I had kind of created this style, and photography is just a bright, fun, energetic lifestyle, photography. And after 2011 came through, and there's a lot of younger kids coming in and starting to do a lot of the same stuff, so the market became pretty saturated.
Gotcha.
And people, charging less and getting in and, changing the industry in general. And so I saw my business slow down quite a bit that year. And it definitely took me into a downward mental spiral, or emotional spiral.
Right.
And there was a lot of stuff going on, and I realized I ended up taking this emotional intelligence and leadership training.
Oh, beautiful.
A little bit thereafter, which was like the catalyst to do it, because I realized how much my self-worth was built into my art and my career, and who I was shooting, what I was shooting. And as an artist, your vision is your product, but your vision is who you are, and it's hard to separate that between your worth and business necessarily.
Absolutely.
So that took a lot of work and digging myself out of it. And that work I did a lot through the training, the leadership training.
Beautiful.
And got through it and shifted my whole perspective on life going through that process. And now my vision's expanded to bigger scale, and I started the podcast. I've created other art. It's been in the last couple of years has been a great couple of years.
That's beautiful, man. So it was really how you got out of being in that situation was taking action.
Absolutely, but I had become aware of it. I had to hit that point where I was like, oh man, I need to figure this out. And it all starts with the mind, as you talk about, and that leadership training was learning how to become aware of the emotions and the mindsets and the beliefs that I had created that I was unaware of, and learning how to bring those to the surface. We talk about a little bit about, bringing stuff up from your subconscious to the conscious, shifting it, and then reprogramming it down into the subconscious mind. And that's a lot of what this was.
Beautiful, man.
On a different sense than the NLP stuff. It was definitely a different way of doing it.
Just different. I mean, at the end of the day, what I've been talking about is like what I do. It's been told for thousands of years. I'm just saying it in a 21st century way so people can understand it. And that's all it is. It's like, what are we doing? Could we talk about neural nets and all of this stuff and rebuilding? And the science this is science back now. But this is what spiritual leaders have been teaching for thousands of years. There's nothing revolutionary to anything that we do. The difference is, we have to communicate in a different way, So, I mean, with yourself, Nick, what do you do on a daily basis to keep yourself being a badass?
Morning routines, right?
Hey.
Yeah, I guess lately I've been a lot into just balance of life and health and learning as much as I can about how to hack my mind, really, because your mind is where everything stems from. If you can be the Jedi of your own mind, then you can change a lot of things in your life. And I've been on a journey to kind of refine that. But in terms on a daily basis, I think, I've been exercising a lot more over the last couple of years. I try to work out, 25 to 30 minutes a day for, 4 to 5 days a week at least when I'm home.
Yep.
I make these pretty good protein shakes with like oils and MCT oils and goji berries and all that good stuff.
Love it.
So that's another part of the routine. And then I just started meditation, which is I'm venturing. It's a new journey. I know there's a de-stressing period at the very beginning, which I'm going through right now. So.
I can show you many different ways to meditate too, dude, because it's like I love Transcendental TM because they give you that mantra. That mantra is beautiful, but you can use other things instead of mantras and Kundalini energy and prana energy and circulating all this stuff. I'll show you all that other stuff, man, because I can't keep still. My mind, if I have to just focus and try to make it like just blank, forget it. Forget it, right? You have to go deeper and deeper and deeper into whether it's the words or the feelings or whatever it is. You just go deeper into it. So I can show you some bits and pieces too, mate. That stuff's powerful. That stuff's powerful.
I'd love to learn more. I mean, I've always been like the ADD entrepreneur, can never I've tried other meditations. I've tried Headspace, and I'll literally sit there and 30 seconds in, and then it'll be the end of it, and I was like, I didn't even hear any of that. My mind's everywhere. But this is kind of the first time that I've tried meditation that I could actually do it.
That's so cool. Whatever's working for you, right? Whatever's working for you. That's the point. So it's your routine. So what do you do? So it's the meditations in the mornings that you set up. How do you switch yourself on? If you've got a big photo shoot and even the first time you photoed Justin Bieber or whoever, that must have been a big pressurized thing for you because these are rock stars. So I mean, how did you make sure that you delivered the results? How did you get yourself in that mindset? Was it just pure commitment? I mean, what was going on?
I mean, part of it, is just the commitment, and I'm doing this. It's gonna happen. And I think the other thing, when you're photographing people like that, it's just realizing that they're humans as well.
Right.
And it's kind of getting past that, and I mean, treat them like another human. Other people, when people fan out over celebrities, that's when the celebrities put them in a fan category.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you just talk to them like a normal human, then they don't put you in that category.
And that right there is a golden lesson, what you just said. And that's the same with anybody. Right there. That's the same with anybody, treating people as the human beings. instead of like what you've perceived them to be. Because generally what I've found, and you might have mentioned that you might think this yourself, Nick, but it's like when you meet real high-end people and you have a perception of them, generally you'll get let down, you know. And if you don't have an intent and you just treat them and accept them for whoever and whatever they are, then you're good.
Totally, absolutely.
So countries, well, and we're going to wrap it up soon, but countries, I'm fascinated because you bounce and you've traveled way more than me, and I traveled some. I mean, what's some of the most awesome countries? I mean, what's some of your top 2 favorites?
Top 2 favorites, man. I love Japan. Japan's a great country. Tokyo's insane. It's just, I mean, you've got a completely first world modern country that's completely different culture than what, you know, we'd be used to in the US or the UK. Or totally fascinating, bright colored, very design driven. It's beautiful country.
Wow, Japan! I'd love to go to Japan. That's definitely on my bucket list, man. What are they? I heard everyone's just really polite and kind, and like walking around the streets, even in Tokyo.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very much the culture. There is politeness, and I think there's an underlying hierarchy in Japanese culture.
Gotcha.
So foreigners and guests are treated at a higher in the hierarchy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, that makes sense. I grew up training around a lot of Japanese and doing karate, so all our lessons were in Japanese and everything. It was crazy. So I have a lot of affinity with the Japanese. I get that, man. What's the other countries, man? What about the other country?
Oh man, I gotta figure out which one to choose. You know, there's. I mean, I just went to Antarctica this year. That's a pretty fascinating place. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my friends got married down there, believe it or not.
Damn, in Antarctica, what are those people like? Because they must be real isolated up there, right? Well, down there.
Well, there's nobody actually lives down there. I mean, there's a few people at a couple of the different research stations, but there's no civilization on Antarctica. It's not even a country. There's no infrastructure. There's nothing. So you basically take a boat down there and you sleep on the boat, and then they take you out on excursions and they take you on excursions to land and see. You get to hang out with the penguins and the whales and icebergs, and it's like a whole completely new world.
It
doesn't even feel like this planet.
Really?
Yeah.
What was your lessons from going there, man? What about yourself? What perspective shift? Did anything? Took some cool photos.
Definitely took some great photos. I think it's just like the realization that the world is so much bigger than we think it is.
Perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, perspective, because everything is so vastly huge there that you're just like a little speck. In a grand landscape.
Yeah.
And then you take that to the idea of space and who we are in the universe.
Yeah, that's for the second podcast. That one, dude. We can go into all of that, man. I know you've got to run soon, but I'm gonna finish us up with just this is a regular feature that I do on all the guests, and especially the ones I like, mate. I want to find out what's playing in your head, and what I mean by that is. Mindset by Design crew regulars are going to be so used to this, but what's my definition of the unconscious mind? That's right. It's the software that plays in the background of someone's head, like the software that plays in the background of a computer, right? It runs automatically and it makes you perform a certain way. So what I want to do, Nick, is I want to ask you just 4 different words. And what that means is whatever comes up in your mind, thoughts or feelings, what that means, crew, for Nick, is that's what's automatically playing in his head. So it's like a little snapshot of what's going on, man. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's like when you're a little kid, a word association, right? Plain and simple. Right. Yeah, same. So when I say the word the future, what comes into your mind? What thoughts and feelings?
Dreams.
Beautiful. What feeling comes in?
The resonance of possibility.
That's beautiful. The resonance of possibility. So what's that feeling?
It's excitement. It's excitement. I have a thing that I call creative resonance. It's that high feeling that you get when you're creating something. I think the idea of it's like a life high, but in thinking of the possibility of life.
I love it, and I know that feeling. That's a badass feeling. So, what about money? When I say the word money to you, what instantly comes up?
Vehicle.
Nice. What feeling?
A feeling of
I like it that you're thinking about it, man. I like that. What feeling comes up when you think about money? You're thinking about it's a tool. So what's the feeling?
The feeling is the excitement that it allows me to create what I want in life.
That's a good feeling, mate. It's a good feeling. I've had some guests on here who are rich and stuff, like millionaires, and they're like, "Oh, money scares me." So you need more of it to make them not scared. You know, there's all different ways to look at it, man. Two more, man. What about business? What comes up when I say the word business to you?
Business is passion, excitement.
Nice. I can see a theme running through this, mate. Can you see this theme, this excitement theme? I like this. This is why you enjoy your life, man. What about
Absolutely.
What about when I say the word tomorrow? What comes up?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. What comes up when you think about tomorrow? It could be like what you've got to do tomorrow, but it could be like what comes up when you think about tomorrow?
More time.
More time to do what specifically?
More time to create.
With excitement and passion, right?
Absolutely.
I love it, dude. I love it. So thank you so much, man. Where can everyone connect you? I'm going to put this in the show notes and on the intro and the outro because we'll do separately. But where can everyone connect to you, man? Because I know there's loads of Mindset by Design crew members are going to want to.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to see what I'm up to on a daily basis, Instagram is the best. And that's at Nick Onken, NICKONKEN, which is the same across all my social platforms. Nice. And then nickonken.com is my photography, and shoptalkradio.com is the podcast.
So cool, buddy. So cool. Thank you so much, Nick. This has been a lot of fun, man. It's been a real pleasure getting to know you, man. And I know it's just the start of the journey, sir. But yeah, any other words of wisdom you want to leave the crew with?
Likewise. Well, thank you. Other words?
Other words of wisdom. Anything you want to give this little tidbits? Any little words of wisdom to finish this off?
Yeah, go out and create your moments, because when you create your moments, you create your life.
Boom. We like it. Thank you so much, mate. We'll talk to you real soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
So, crew. There we go, the end of episode 322. Love Nick? Gotta love Nick, right? You gotta love Nick. How can you not? So I really hope you got some little aha moments and little perspective shifts from that about your own company, your own branding, your own brain. And if you did, awesome. Make sure you head over to nickonken.com and go and hang around with Nick. Find him on Instagram and all of that cool stuff. And speaking of cool stuff, make sure you're heading over to the show notes or just go to andymurphy.online. Get access right now and sort your mornings out. Do it today, Fire My Morning. And also make sure that you are getting your total control blueprint book. How to stop grinding and step into flow instantly. It's free. Go and get them. Make sure you're also hanging out with me on Instagram, Facebook, and also LinkedIn and wherever else I am. How do you do that? Easy. Type in Andy Murphy Mindset and you'll find me. So head over to andymurphy.online, get your free gifts. Head over to everywhere else, coming to hang out with me. And if you are looking to be part of a mastermind, if you are looking for some specific coaching, have a chat. If you head to mentor on andymurphy.online, click the application form, come in and meet me or one of my coaches, and we can together get you to a whole different level. Sound good? Beautiful, beautiful. So, until the next time, you have an amazing week and much, much love. And oh yeah, one more thing. Why don't you smile for me?
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of the Mindset by Design podcast with your host and NLP expert, Andy Murphy. We'll catch you next time.